Hello everyone. Today we're diving into the extreme horror film Terrifier. If you have a weak tolerance for disturbing content, watch with caution. In a dim and shabby room, a lonely television sat on the table, broadcasting a live talk show. The guest was the sole survivor of the Miles County massacre, which had taken place the previous Halloween. Although she lived, her face was horribly disfigured. According to her, the killer was a clown, who was said to have died later. But since the clown's body mysteriously vanished from the morgue, his death remained in question. After the program ended, the host Monica was in the dressing room calling her boyfriend, complaining that she had never seen such a terrifying face on her show before. If it hadn't been live, she said she would have vomited from disgust. While talking, she noticed the clothes on the rack seemed to move. She pulled them aside to check, but nothing was there. Just as she thought it was only her imagination, the unexpected happened. What exactly had this disfigured girl gone through to twist her mind into such a state? The story then jumps back to 1 year earlier, on Halloween night. At midnight, Tara and her friend Dawn had just left a party. Dawn was completely drunk, so Tara told her to hand over the car keys. She was taking over the driving. As they argued playfully over the keys from a nearby alley, Art the clown appeared, dragging a large black garbage bag. Art stood there staring at them. Tara felt uneasy, but Dawn didn't care, shouting out to Art as a joke, "Hey, handsome! My friend wants your number," Dawn quickly explained. "She's drunk. Don't take it seriously." But when she turned back, Art was already gone. They don't think much of it and head to a pizza parlor to eat. To their surprise, Art soon walked in. He sat across from them in silence, but kept making bizarre, exaggerated faces.
Are you okay?
I think we should get our food to go.
Why?
Seriously, I want to leave.
Him?
Dawn thought Tara was overreacting. To her, this was just some guy in clown makeup. How dangerous could he really be? To ease Tara's nerves, Dawn boldly walked over to Art and asked for a picture. When Art stayed silent, Dawn simply posed herself and snapped the shot, immediately posting it online. Just then, the worker Steve came over to take Art's order, but Art stayed completely silent, like a mannequin. Irritated, Steve told him that if he wasn't buying food, he needed to leave. Finally, Art stood up. Not to go, but to grab a coin from another table and put it into a toy machine. Out came a toy ring, which he carried over and presented to Tara. He even slipped it onto her finger himself, before walking straight into the restroom. Dawn took this as proof that Art wasn't a bad guy at all. It wasn't long before Steve yelled at Art, calling him a pervert, kicked him out, and also tossed the black plastic bag outside. On the way back, Tara and Dawn wondered what Art had done in the restroom to get thrown out. Dawn teased Tara, saying Art probably liked her so much he couldn't resist going to the bathroom to deal with himself. When they reached their car, they found the tire had been slashed. Dawn guessed it might have been a nail, but Tara suspected otherwise. She reminded Dawn that when they first saw Art at the alley, he had already looked at her license plate. But no matter what Tara said, Dawn insisted it was just an accident. With no spare tire, they couldn't fix it, so Tara called her sister Victoria to come pick them up. While they waited in the car, Art was busy at the pizza shop. Inside the restroom, he had smeared blood and other vile substances all over the toilet. The worker cursed as he scrubbed with bleach. He shouted for Steve, but no one came. When he went to check, he was greeted by a horrifying sight. He tried to run, but the door was locked. He tries to call the police, but the next second, his hand is chopped off by Art. Helpless, the worker could only suffer as Art continued his brutal attack. Back at the car, Tara suddenly felt a desperate urge to relieve herself. Of course, Dawn suggested she just do it on the roadside since it was late and no one was around, but Tara refused, saying she wasn't that kind of person. Just then, they spotted a man outside an apartment smoking. Tara hurried over and asked if she could use the restroom. Mike hesitates but agrees. Inside, Tara learns Mike works for a pest control company and is there to exterminate rats. Mike asked if she wanted him to wait outside the restroom, but Tara politely declined. Though the bathroom was filthy, Tara told herself it would only take a minute. Meanwhile, back in the car, the radio interrupted with breaking news. There had been a double murder in Miles County tonight, and the victims were 2 employees at the pizza shop. A witness reported seeing the suspect, a man in black and white clown clothes, carrying a black garbage bag. When she checks the photo she took with Art at the pizza shop, she realizes he closely matches the suspect description. Sirens wailed as a police car sped past and the car door creaked open. As Tara finished in the restroom and stepped out, she suddenly heard the cry of a baby. She followed the sound to a warehouse piled with tires. Out of nowhere, a woman appeared, scaring her. This was the cat lady, clearly unstable. Clutching a doll she insisted was her daughter. Emily, Tara brushed her off with an excuse and turned to leave. But only a short distance away, she ran right into Art. Terrified, she bolted through the back door and hid in the parking lot. Art followed slowly and methodically, checking car by car as he hunted for Tara's shadow. Tara lies on the ground, barely daring to breathe. Once Art is out of sight, she thinks she's safe and slowly gets up. But suddenly a stabbing pain surged through her entire body. It was Art, slashing her leg from behind. Tara tried to break free, but Art held her tightly, pinning her down, first choking her by the neck and then trying to crush her eyeball with his bare hands. In the struggle, Tara grabbed a knife from the ground and stabbed Art hard. Immediately, Tara seized the chance and ran. She pounded on doors desperately, hoping for help, but no one responded. Left with no choice, she grabbed a wooden board for defense and hid in Art's blind spot. Art searched nearby, and just as she was about to be exposed, Tara quickly tossed a stone to another corner. Art took the bait. At the same time, Victoria was on her way, hearing from the radio about the massacre that had taken place at the pizza shop. Police warned Miles County residents to stay home that night, and if they saw a suspect matching the description, to call immediately. When Tara saw that Art hadn't come back, she decided to leave, but the door was locked. She couldn't open it, so she had to flee upstairs. In the hallway, she spotted a landline and hurried to pick it up, but the phone was broken. She tries to climb out a window, but it won't open. At that moment, she saw Mike working in the hallway. Thinking she'd found hope, she shouted for help, but Mike, wearing headphones and listening to music, didn't hear a thing. Tara fought with all her strength, but it was useless. A shot of anesthetic and she blacked out. When she woke up, she was tied to a chair. Art gave her a twisted smile, then pulled a small hammer from his bag and walked over. Art was merely trying to scare Tara, and then he walked over to a white sheet. When he pulled it down, Tara was stunned. It was Dawn, nearly stripped, hanging upside down. Tara could do nothing but scream in helpless rage. Art yanked away Dawn's last shred of covering and then sawed her body in half. Tara knew that if she couldn't escape, Dawn's fate would soon be hers. While Art was busy with the corpse, she quickly ripped apart the tape binding her. Although Art tried to stop her, Tara attacked him and managed to escape to the parking lot. A new round of cat and mouse began. This time Tara struck first, hitting Art hard from behind with the wooden board. At that moment, if she had kept striking, she might have won, but instead she shouted at Art to get up. Art did not disappoint her. He crouched down, and Tara struck again. But unexpectedly, Art still had another move. He pulled out a gun. A bullet hit Tara's leg, sending her to the ground in agony. Art then fired another shot at her face. Even so, Tara somehow clung to life. Art wanted to finish her, but his bullets were spent. By now, Victoria had reached the building entrance, but the front door was locked. She called Tara instead. The phone was with Art. As he reloaded, the ringtone rang out. He didn't answer, but sent a text, luring Victoria to enter from the back door. Art then snapped a selfie with Dawn's mutilated body and returned to Tara. Tara was doomed. At the same time, Cat Lady rushed to Mike, pleading with him to call the police, saying a clown was killing people and they would be next. But since she seemed deranged, Mike didn't believe her, and his coworker Will was due to arrive soon. Mike called to check if Will was on his way, but before he could finish, Art struck. Victoria entered through the back door into the warehouse full of tires. Meanwhile, Cat Lady realized that Emily was missing from the stroller. When she found her, Art was holding the doll. She begged Art to let her daughter go, but Art motioned for her to stay silent. The Cat Lady comforts Emily while moving closer to Art.
Is there kindness in you? Spare her somewhere in your heart. It's okay.
Victoria searched the warehouse but found nothing, so she called Tara. To her shock, the ringtone sounded nearby. Following it, she stumbled into the basement and was horrified at the sight of Dawn's mutilated body. Then she went deeper into another underground tunnel where she saw a woman collapsed. Thinking it was Tara, she quickly called the police. Suddenly, another woman's voice echoed, shouting Emily's name. The woman beside Victoria suddenly sat up. To her horror, it was Art in disguise, wearing Cat Lady's scalp as a wig. Not only that, he even cruelly cut off the upper half of Cat Lady's body and strapped it onto his chest. With all exits locked and no help in sight, Victoria hid inside a cabinet. But Art soon found her, striking bizarre poses that were beyond disturbing. Will finally arrived. He lifted the mat by the back door, found the spare key, and entered the building. The bloody footprints on the floor caught his eye, but he failed to grasp the danger. Then Will steps on Emily. He thought the doll was cute, picked it up, and smiled at it gently, completely unaware that death was closing in on him. Victoria carefully stepped out of the cabinet and made her way to the parking lot, only to see Art not far away, leisurely riding a children's bicycle. She waited for the right moment and hid in a passage full of rats. Was it safe there? Not at all. Art suddenly appeared, covering Victoria's mouth and nose with a plastic bag, trying to suffocate her. Victoria refused to give in. She tore the bag open with her hands, then grabbed a large iron nail from the ground and stabbed it straight through Art's foot. Meanwhile, Mike slowly woke up from his coma. During her escape, Victoria finally finds her sister, motionless in a chair covered in string lights with a circus sign hanging around her neck. Seeing Tara's gruesome death, Victoria broke down and wept bitterly. At that moment, Art appeared, mercilessly lashing Victoria with a chain, every strike cutting into her skin, ruthless and vicious. While Art is lost in the thrill of torture, Mike sneaks up behind him and knocks him out with one blow. Mike comforted Victoria, telling her not to be afraid, promising he would get her out of there. After they left, the camera panned to Art's weapon. It wasn't a chain, but a rope tied with scissors. Mike led Victoria into a break room. The landline there still worked, so he quickly called the police, reporting the horrifying murders that had taken place. After hanging up, Mike doesn't just wait. He leads Victoria to look for a way out, but the back door was locked. Just as he was searching for a tool to pry the door open, Art launched another attack. In the end, Mike's head was brutally crushed by Art's relentless kicks. Victoria picked up a stick and struck the lock with all her strength, and to her surprise, it actually broke open. But it was too late. Art had already grabbed her by the neck. During the struggle, Victoria managed to free herself and ran toward the entrance of a warehouse. The door had "Keep Out" written on it, but she didn't care anymore and squeezed through the gap to get inside. At the last moment, Art grabbed her hair tightly. To survive, she tore herself free, even at the cost of her hair. Fortunately, Art couldn't fit through the gap. Victoria escaped the danger for the moment, but it didn't last long. In a fit of rage, Art drove a car straight through the door, and before she could dodge, Victoria was knocked down into a pool of blood. Art didn't kill her outright. Instead, he knelt down, licked her blood, and tore pieces of skin from her face. Soon after, sirens wailed outside.
That's it. No, no, no!
Later, police delivered Art's body to the morgue. As the doctor prepared for the autopsy, strange things began to happen. The lights flickered, the phone rang, and even the radio, though switched off, emitted eerie sounds. But soon, everything returned to normal. But when the doctor turns around, Art grabs him by the throat. Unbelievably, Art, whose head had been blown open by a bullet, was still alive. In the end, after killing the doctor, Art escaped from the morgue. As for Victoria, although she survives, her face is severely disfigured. She becomes a woman without a face. The movie was released in 2016, a pure and extreme slasher film. The plot is simple with no real logic to analyze because what it presents is an endless blood-soaked massacre. All right, that's the end of today's story. See you next time.